Chapter 4, the main topic of chapter 4 is wonderful practice is not to cling to anything, not to attach to anything. In the Chinese language, it's 妙行无住分第四，妙行无住，妙行无住, wonderful practice, not attaching to anything. So let's just read it once first. Chapter 4 or section 4. He continues, Subhuti, when a bodhisattva practices generosity, his mind should not abide anywhere. That is to say, when making offering without a mind abiding in form, sound, smell, taste, touch, or things. Right. Next paragraph. Subhuti, a bodhisattva should practice generosity without a mind abiding in false notions. Why? When a bodhisattva's mind does not abide in forms during practicing charity, his merit will be inconceivable and immeasurable. Now let's go to the chapter 3. Chapter 3 concerns about the bodhisattva as the liberator and sentient beings as ones being liberated. So the bodhisattva as the giver and sentient being as the recipient. So there is someone helping, rendering out help, giving out compassion. Bodhisattvas giving out compassion to help sentient beings. So there's a giver and a receiver. There's a give and take. Bodhisattva should give liberation without attachment to the notion of ego, person, beings, and existence of life. This is extremely important, maybe to people who have not listened to Buddhism before. This is rather confusing. Bodhisattvas should help to liberate sentient beings who are in confusion, who are in suffering, and yet without attachment to the notion of ego. Without attachment to the notion of ego, to notion of personality, to notion of beings, and to notion of existence of life. What is ego? Ego is I. The I, the attachment to the identity I, which is the subject, the giver. Ego, as we have elaborated before, contains the 5 skandhas, the 5 aggregates. What does this ego make up of? What am I make up of? Why do I have to eliminate the ego? Why did I always attach to my ego? Why did the bodhisattvas should learn to forego the ego when they're helping others, not requiring return or reward or compensation? Not a trace of attachment to be attached to getting reward for the help rendered, for the compassion rendered to sentient beings. What is this ego? The ego is a combination of, you still remember the 5 aggregates, the 5 skandhas? So the I, the ego, is nothing but body and mind. The body is matter, material. Your body is made of material, isn't it? Every part of the body is a combination of molecules. It's matter. This is matter. But other than the matter that you have, the body, you also have the mind. In addition to the materialistic world, you have the spiritual world. Just inside the small of the world is the body. The materialistic world is your body, the material. And the spiritual world is your perception, your conceptualization, your volition, and your consciousness. So you're nothing but body and mind. This body and mind make up of you, me, them. And we all attach to the notion of ego. This is mine, this is yours. I got to protect myself, me. You can't infringe into my benefits. There's always a delineation between you and me. All encumbrances, all trouble, all sufferings arises because of this egoistic feeling. So the Bodhisattva's first lesson when they render compassion is to get rid of the ego. When the ego is gone, wonders will come out. When the little identity I is gone, the big massive I will come out. Now this is for chapter 3. I'm not going to repeat chapter 3 again, but just to remind you. So the ego, we should have no attachment to the ego and no attachment to personality. If the ego is I, what is corresponding to the I? You, them, they, the personality. If you think that I is permanent, I have a self-nature, you also think that all others have egos, all others have self-nature. Actually, ego and personality, they are empty. Sunyata, they are void. How come they are empty? What does emptiness mean? What does emptiness mean? 空，为什么佛事是空门？空是什么意思？ Emptiness does not mean that there's nothing. Oh, empty, there's nothing. It does not mean just nothing. Voidness does not just mean nothing. What's the definition of emptiness in the Sanskrit language? It is a very important concept. The concept of emptiness, strict common English translation of sunyata is emptiness, but the meaning contains more than just emptiness. Sunyata, 空, it means what? It means, at least it has 3 characteristics in the definition. The one is nothing is permanent. Nothing is permanent. Everything is impermanent. If you find one thing in this world that is permanent, please tell me. I'd like to know. Nothing is permanent. Not even your body. Not even your body and mind. You are not permanent. I am not permanent. Nothing is. Is this permanent? Is this piece of stick permanent? No, it's not permanent. So that's the first definition of emptiness. It's arising, it's being born now, but it would disintegrate, it would die finally. That's the first definition. The second definition is causality. Emptiness is causality. It's a combination of causes put together. This stick, or your body, or your ego, is a combination of all causes put together. Who gave you birth? Your mom. Why did your mom give you birth? It's a combination of the fusion of 2 cells, smaller the cells together, to fuse into the little you that you got. And we trace it back to the karma, why you were born here. So there's nothing without a cause, causality. Everything comes with a reason. Everything happened with a reason. Causality, simultaneous causality. That's a very profound concept that you need to follow through if you want to study the Buddha's teaching. So the first one is impermanence. The second is simultaneous causality. The third, what's the third definition of emptiness? It's not self-created. No creator. Did you find anything that's self-created? If something has nature, it can be created out of its own, without any cause. It will come out without any cause. That's what we call self-creation. But nothing comes without any cause. It's not under its control. Not even your body and mind. In other words, it's not self-created, it's out of your control. Can you control yourself? Can you control your own body and mind? You say, yeah. This is my body, this is my mind, of course. It's under my control. But when you think about it deeper, if your mind is under your control, how come you get mad? How come you yell? How come you shout? How come you slander? How do you become greedy, jealous, disappointed, anxiety, feared? Fear of death of your beloved ones. How come all these things is not under your control? How come you fight? How come you kill? How come you rape? How come you commit all criminal offenses if you can control yourself? You can't even control your own life. Can you control yourself so that you won't be sick? I have a flu. I don't want this flu. I want to throw this flu away. Can you do that? You can? By medicine. By medicine. Yeah. Can you say, this body is going to die. I don't want to die. This body is not under your control. So now you know, emptiness, simultaneous causality, impermanent changeability. It changes all the time. It does not stay the same. It's always in a flux of changes. Do you know that our body is always undergoing flux of changes, inside and outside? And some people say, I come here to listen to the Buddha's teaching, and I'm listening to all this negative stuff. You're telling me that I'm going to die? You're telling me that my body is not under my control? You're telling me that everything comes out with a cause, and you make me feel sad about myself. Isn't that a fact? The fact that you know emptiness should not give you any negative feeling. It should give you positive feeling. Why? Because if you know that nothing happened without a cause, you know that you must cultivate good causes. You want good result? Then you know if you want good result, you must have good cause. So you know how to cultivate good causes. You don't just sit there and waiting for yourself to die. Or you just don't sit there and wait for things to happen. You cultivate them. You make things happen. Because you can make those causes come true. You want to make a friend? Put on a smile. Be cordial about it. Be kind. Be considerate. Cultivate all these causes to render yourself to be friendly. To give a smile. To give you consideration. You can do all these causes without money. And yet some people put on an angry face, inconsiderate action. They don't really care. How does knowing emptiness help me? It helps you tremendously if you can learn from it. Changeability. Everything is changes all the time. So you know that when I am all safe and sound now, I should know that I should be careful. I'm in my house comfortably seated, and I know that I have all these causes come true that I can be comfortable, but I must maintain it. I must keep on. It changes. If you're in a bad mood, if your business fails, if you're out of a job, if your life comes to a traumatic misery, you know that I can change it. It's changeable. It does not mean that it's coming to the end. I don't want to kill myself because I can change it. It's changeable. Can you turn your negative feeling into positive feeling? It's up to you to change. So now you know, knowing emptiness really helps. And now, for the first-time comers, you know, coming to a Buddhist temple, it's not just to prostrate to Buddha, to burn an incense, to exercise or to express your blind faith. It's the study of your own mind. You study, you have to know yourself. The Buddha's teaching is to help you to know your own mind. Don't you want to know your own mind? What is happiness? What are you looking for in life? Some people say, in life, I'm looking for happiness. Is there any objection to this? Anybody who do not want to be happy? Raise your hand. Everybody wants to look for happiness, right? Happiness? Where does happiness come from? From money? From a great mansion on Grandview Street, Sonnesey? From a 400-foot boat? From a private jet plane? Where does happiness come from? Happiness, the Buddha said, come from the mind. If you don't have this peace of mind, you're not going to have happiness. Not only the Buddha knows about this, not only the Buddha told us many, many years ago, even people nowadays, those rich people, the richest people on earth. In Hong Kong, there's one of the multi-billionaire, I don't know, Mr. Lee, one of the multi-billionaires, and he was being interviewed by reporters, and the reporters asked Mr. Lee, what do you think is happiness? You know, now that you have a lot of money, and of course they have a lot of interviewing questions, but the crux of the issue is happiness is that comes from peace of mind. When you don't have peace of mind, it does not matter how much money you have. You don't have happiness if you don't have peace of mind. In North America, one of the richest persons on earth, Warren Buffett, right? Warren Buffett, he gave away $30 billion for charity. And if you calculate $30 billion, say assuming a 5% interest rate, and you multiply 365 days per year, every year produce that much, so that means every day he donated $4 million every day to charity. He was interviewed by a reporter asking for secrets of happiness. His number one secret of happiness is happiness comes from within. Does not come from material, does not come from reputation, does not come from your power, does not come from how much money you have, or how handsome your boyfriend is, or your girlfriend, how beautiful she is. It does not come from all that. It comes from the mind, right here. That's what we are studying now, step by step. We're studying the mind in the Diamond Sutra. See, I haven't really started yet, so I should get back to the sutra. So, ego. So the Bodhisattvas should learn to abandon the ego, to abandon the personality, to abandon beings. What are these beings? In the Chinese languages, 无我相, 无人相, 无众生相, 无受解相, 无事相. Getting rid of this fourfold fallacious conception. Because we always think that there is ego, personality, beings, and life. This is the fourfold fallacious concept that we've got to get rid of. If you have I and you, we have the subject, ego, you, the object, there must be others too. So there's three beings. And life is the continuation of life. You always think that we're permanent. We always think that we've got to go on every day. You always think that tomorrow I have this plan, and 1 year later I have this plan. But you don't know that life is indeterminate. You don't know when your life is going to end. You could be extremely healthy. Anyone can be extremely healthy, and next day, if there's an accident, you're gone. Does that mean that we are very pessimistic? No, this is fact of life. Causality. If you're drunken driving, you're bound to run into problems like that. You cultivate your own cause. Not Buddha, not God. You are responsible for whatever you have done, whatever you're going to do. Now, let's deal with the chapter 4 now. Now chapter 3 deals with the giver and the recipient, the correspondent. Now chapter 4 deals with the gift itself. You're giving something. The gift itself. What is being given, and is there any attachment to what is being given? That means when a Bodhisattva gives, should he be attaching to the gift, to the object? And the Buddha said, Subhuti, when a Bodhisattva practices generosity, what is generosity? Generosity is one of the 6 Prajna Paramittas, 6 categories of behavior. We call it the 6 Prajna Paramitta. Paramitta, that means from this shore of confusion to that shore of enlightenment. So a bodhisattva learned how to cross over the ocean of life and death from this shore of confusion, of suffering, to that shore of enlightenment. You need that ship. That ship has 6 characteristics on it. The first one is generosity. The second one is ethics or morality. The third is patience and tolerance. The fourth is efforts and exertion. The fifth is meditation. The sixth is perfection of wisdom. You need these 6 parameters. In the Sanskrit language, generosity is dana. Tano, dana. Is Sanskrit language is dana, D-A-N-A. In common English is charity or generosity. You have to practice. A bodhisattva must practice generosity, charity. That's number 1 in the ship. That ship needs people who practice. So the Buddha cited an example in the 6 parameters. He gave an example first of generosity. And the Buddha said, Subhuti, when a bodhisattva practices generosity, not just generosity, there are others, right? Because there are 5 others. But why did the Buddha cite this example of generosity? Because generosity is the first in the 6 parameters. And also is the easiest to practice, yet it's the most important. Giving is the most important. So if you understand how not to attach to generosity, then you understand how not to attach to the other 5 parameters when you are carrying out the parameters. So now you know that chapter 4 deals with the gift, deals with when you render out the compassion, the gift, you're not attaching to the gift. In chapter 3 is not attaching to the giver and the recipient. So the sutra is very systematic. It contains a lot of wisdom in the outline, the laying out of all the words in the sutra. So, Subhuti, when a bodhisattva practices generosity, his mind should not abide anywhere. That is to say, when making offering, his mind should not abide in form, sound, smell, taste, touch, or things. What do we have? We have the 6 senses. This is getting very profound. Buddhism is something very complicated. First-time comers, it would scare you away. I'm sure you won't come back the next time because it's difficult. It's very difficult. It's not just singing a hymn of Buddhism in praise of the Buddha. It's something that you really have to boggle your mind and think about it. Not just sitting there and relaxing in meditation. Some people think they come for meditation. It's relaxation. I'm learning yoga. Yoga can make me pretty. Yoga can make my health better. So I'm coming to improve my health. Is that your purpose of coming? Health improvement is just a byproduct of meditation, not the main cause for your coming. You are coming to relieve yourself of suffering. You are coming for a much more important cause, not just for the body and mind, not just to enhance your ego. All right, let me go on, otherwise I can't finish. So, the Buddha said, when you are giving generosity, when you're giving out, what is this giving? There are 3 kinds of giving: material giving, emotional giving, and spiritual giving. What is material giving? I'm donating $10, I'm donating $100 to charity. This material, I'm donating clothes and food to Big Brothers, to nursing homes. I'm giving out material. So this giving in material, this is material giving. And we all did that. We're always doing material giving. How about emotional giving? Emotional giving is giving advice, giving comfort, consolations. Some people are sick, you call him up, hey, Jeanette, Don't worry about it. You'll recover. And do you want me to come to see you? And this is emotional comfort. That is as important as material giving, Giving people the consolation, the calmness of mind over the phone, giving people a smile, giving people a hello, giving people something you care. That is as important as material giving. A pat on the shoulder, relaxation of his attachment. Care. You really care, do you? How about spiritual giving? Guidance and instructions, particularly related to spiritual levels. Someone is in trouble, and he's in a big depression, and he wanted to kill himself. I don't want that to happen. I want to make sure that that won't happen. So I'm going to talk to him. I'm going to do all my best to save him. That's the spiritual giving. Material giving is the easiest. I got 100 million, I'm giving out 10, only 20%. It's a tax break. So, material giving, everybody can happen, it happens, but emotional and spiritual, especially spiritual giving, what produces the most merits? Spiritual giving. Why? Because if you are giving money to save a person's life in a hospital, you only save his one life. He doesn't have any money to do the most important operation in his life. He needs $30,000. You are so generous. Hey, Tom, don't worry about it. I give you $30,000. You have to save your. We want you back. So you donated $30,000 to him. You save his life. Because of your $30,000, his life is safe. So you save his body life, but you haven't saved his spiritual life. Because if Tom, it's a bad person. Tom is suffering because he's doing bad deeds. He's cultivating a lot of bad causes, and he will be reincarnating life after life and life after life. He will lead a life in a continuum of lives. But spiritually, you want him to get enlightened so that he does not have to go through reincarnation again. You are saving him from the ocean of life and death. You elevate him to beyond life and death. That's what the Buddha's been rendering to us. He wanted to pull us out from suffering. He wanted to pull us out from this temporary life to that eternal life. You're saving his eternity. You don't just save him this one discrete little unit life, which is 100 years. You're saving him out of eternity so that he can be right there. A big elevation from life. He'll be constantly in nirvana. No more life and death. So that produces the most merits. So you see, I'm talking on parameters, and I'm still talking on the first paragraph. Generosity. Material, generosity, emotional and spiritual. Emotional is important too. Kids who don't know how to study, you want to be his mentor. You help him out, and because of you, he passed his examinations, he knows how to study, he knows how to make notes, and from now on, now he's in grade 3, now you've been his mentor for a month, helping him out, making notes and making sure he knows how to study, and from grade 4, he continues through university because of you. You have rendered him tremendous help in his life. You gave him advice. You've been his mentor. You save him emotionally. That's important. It's more important than giving him $30,000. All right, next it's Now, when you are practicing generosity, don't attach to, in the Chinese language, is 六尘. In order to explain these 6 outer conditions that you attach to, we have to know what are these 6 inner conditions that you have. What do you have? What are your senses? You have 6 senses. Your eyes correspond to what? Matter, form. Eyes attached to form. Ears correspond to sound. You're listening to me with what? With ears. We got smell producing olfactory functions, attaching to fragrance. We got tongue producing tasting functions. Finally, we got body, tactile function corresponding to touch. And we got mind corresponding to all things. So these are the 6 senses: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, touch, and mentality. So all these things, they are you. They are your quote-unquote ego. All these things corresponding outside and attaching to them. The Buddha analyzed these 6 senses for us so that we get rid of the attachment to outer conditions. That's what this sutra is all about. When a man with excessive sensual desires, when he looks at a different gender, it produces something in his mind so that he is indulged in the desire. And because of this indulgence, attachment to the indulgence, he will perform things like criminal acts. It's all because of this indulgence and attachment. When you think about these things for a long time, you slowly will indulge into it and you carry out wrong actions. All these are attachments. Time's up for eating, and I haven't really started chapter 4. So I just finished I haven't finished even the first paragraph, but I think we should take our time. I think the most important is not to rush through it. The most important is to understand what the Buddha is teaching, to understand ourselves. Buddhism is not just blind faith, it's to understand your own mind, understand how you think, how you conceptualize, how you discriminate, how your consciousness arises, and how you attach to encumbrances of outer surroundings, and how to resolve your problem of suffering, how to resolve your mental defilements such as greediness, hatred, disappointment, fear, anxieties. How do we deal with those problems? Don't you think Buddhism is practical? Don't you think so, up to this point? It is extremely practical. It's slowly developing in North America now. It's been in the East for thousands of years, and right now it's spreading to North America for about 100 years now. And the prediction is that more and more Buddhism will be the fastest growing religion in North America, because excessive materialism does not bring happiness anymore. We know happiness, as Warren Buffett mentions in his Secrets to Happiness, happiness comes from within.